Look at the world around you. We wake up when the sun rises, we work, we eat, and then, as darkness falls, our energy kind of fades and we go to sleep. It's a rhythm so natural we almost never question it. But what's actually driving this daily cycle? Is it literally just the sun? Or is there something much, much deeper at play here?
Have you ever wondered why you naturally feel sleepy at night but totally alert during the day? Or why flying across the world and getting jet lag just makes you feel absolutely miserable? And what about your friends? Why are some of them these bright-eyed morning birds who love 6 a.m. workouts while others are total night owls who don't even hit their stride until after midnight? Well, the answer to literally all of these questions lies in a hidden, microscopic timekeeper buried deep inside your brain.
In this explainer, we're going to cover a few key things. First, the internal biological clock. 2, the master clock, known as the SEN. 3, molecular engines. 4, melatonin, the hormone of darkness. 5, when clocks break. And 6, larks versus night owls.
Okay, let's jump right into section 1. The internal biological clock, generated from within.
So the word endogenous basically means generated from within. Now, for the longest time, people just assumed we sleep because it gets dark outside. Makes sense, right? But scientists actually proved this wasn't true with this absolutely incredible experiment. They took volunteers and placed them deep into underground caves for weeks. I'm talking no clocks, zero sunlight, no phones, no social schedules whatsoever. If our sleep was entirely dependent on the sun, their schedules should have just descended into complete chaos. But they didn't. These folks still maintained a remarkably regular sleep-wake cycle of about 24 to 25 hours. Their hunger patterns, body temperature, hormone secretions, it all continued in this beautiful, rhythmic dance. The clock wasn't outside in the sky. It was inside them.
Actually, the blind mole rat is another brilliant example of this. So this is a tiny, subterranean rodent that spends almost its entire life completely underground. Its eyes are basically non-functional, it's functionally blind, and it rarely ever sees the sun. Yet this little creature still maintains perfect, regular activity and rest rhythms. It can't see, but it still has a clock. Why? Because the rhythm originates inside the brain. Sunlight really just acts as a Zeitgeber, which is a German word that literally means time giver, to help adjust or reset the clock daily. But the clock itself, it's already ticking away internally.
Moving on to section 2, the master clock, SCN, the brain's orchestra conductor.
So we know this rhythm is internal, but where exactly is it coming from? Imagine zooming deep into a 3D model of the human brain, right down into the hypothalamus. Just above the optic chiasm, which is where your optic nerves cross, sits this tiny, glowing cluster of roughly 20,000 neurons. This is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN. The name literally translates to above the optic chiasm. And these 20,000 neurons act as the master biological clock for your entire body, coordinating absolutely everything from when you fall asleep to your core body temperature.
The really crucial point here is just how powerful and totally independent these specific neurons are. Honestly, this blew my mind when I first learned it. Get this, if you take even a single isolated SCN cell, pull it out of the brain, and keep it alive in a tissue culture in a lab, it will continue to produce a perfect 24-hour circadian rhythm all on its own. No way, right? It literally doesn't even need the rest of the body to keep time. It is a microscopic, ticking clock all by itself.
But wait, if the clock is running all on its own, how does it actually stay synced up with the real world? Remember those Zeitgebers or time givers we talked about? Well, for us, it works like this. Morning sunlight enters your eye and hits these special cells in your retina. Now, these cells don't help you see shapes or colors. Instead, they send a signal directly down a superhighway called the retino-hypothalamic tract, straight into the SCN. Morning light tells the SCN to advance the clock, which wakes you up, while evening light delays it. So your environment is just constantly fine-tuning your brain.
All right, section 3, molecular engines, PER and TIM, the 24-hour DNA feedback loop.
Let's look at what's actually ticking inside those individual cells. Buried in your DNA, you have clock genes. Two of the absolute most important ones are PER, which stands for period, and TIM, which stands for timeless. So during the day, these genes are turned on. They start cranking out PER and TIM proteins, which slowly accumulate in the cell, kind of like water filling up a bathtub. By evening, there are so many of these proteins that they actually join together, forming this PER-TIM complex. Then, during the night, this complex physically enters the cell nucleus and shuts down the very genes that created them. It just turns them off. Without the genes running, no new proteins are made. By morning, the existing proteins break down, the inhibition is lifted, the genes turn back on, and the whole 24-hour cycle restarts. It's just a perfectly self-regulating loop.
And this molecular engine is so fundamental to biology, so perfectly designed, that figuring it out completely changed our understanding of life on Earth. In fact, the discovery of these molecular mechanisms won the 2017 Nobel Prize in Physiology or Medicine. I mean, it literally proves that timekeeping is woven into the very fabric of our DNA.
Section 4. Melatonin, hormone of darkness, preparing the body for sleep.
Now let's zoom back out and see how this master clock communicates the time of day to the rest of your body. When darkness falls and light stops entering your eye, the SCN detects this and sends a signal to a small pinecone-shaped structure in the brain called the pineal gland. And the pineal gland responds by releasing melatonin. In the morning, your melatonin levels are super low. By evening, as the sun sets, it begins rising. And by night, it peaks. Now, there's a huge misconception out there that melatonin is some kind of natural sleeping pill that just forces you to pass out. It really isn't. It's the hormone of darkness. It just signals to your body, hey, night has arrived, time to prepare for sleep. It cools your body down and relaxes your systems.
And you know, this is exactly why modern technology is just so disruptive to our sleep. Your mobile phone, your tablet, your laptop, they all emit blue light. When you're staring at your screen at 11 p.m., that blue light hits your retina, travels straight to the SCN, and basically tricks your master biological clock into thinking the sun is still up. The SCN tells the pineal gland, whoa, hold on, it's daytime, stop the melatonin. So your melatonin gets suppressed, your sleep is delayed, and you end up lying awake wondering why you can't drift off.
Moving on to Section 5. When clocks break, disruptions, jet lag, and shift work.
So, what happens when our modern 24/7 lifestyles violently clash with our ancient biological clocks? Well, let's talk about jet lag first. Imagine you board a flight from India to London. You're crossing multiple time zones in just a matter of hours. When you land, you adjust your watch, right? But you cannot instantly adjust your SCN. Your SCN is still releasing melatonin and running those PER and TIM loops on Indian Standard Time. So you feel utterly exhausted at noon, but you're wide awake at 3 a.m. Your digestion is off, your concentration is totally shot. But here's the crazy part. You don't even need an airplane to get jet lag. Have you ever gone to sleep at 10 p.m. on weekdays, but stayed up playing video games or out partying until 3 a.m. on the weekend? That shifts your clock by 5 whole hours. Come Monday morning, waking up feels literally impossible. Scientists actually call this social jet lag.
Now, this circadian misalignment is even more severe for our modern workforce. Think about nurses, doctors, factory workers, security guards, call center employees, anyone working the night shift. They are forcing wakefulness when their entire cellular biology is screaming for sleep, and then they're trying to sleep during the day when their master clock is telling them to be wide alert. The consequences of this shift work disorder are pretty profound. We're talking chronic fatigue, severe digestive disorders, sleep problems, and a highly increased risk of accidents. We are quite literally fighting our own biology.
Finally, Section 6. Larks versus night owls. Individual chronotypes. Why do we all experience these biological rhythms so differently? Well, it all comes down to chronotypes, which are largely influenced by our genetics, specifically slight variations in those PER and TIM clock genes we talked about, and the exact timing of our melatonin release. So a morning lark wakes up early, feels instantly alert, and hits their absolute peak performance in the morning. An evening owl naturally sleeps late, wakes up groggy, but hits their stride and peak productivity deep into the evening. A lark studies best at 6 a.m., an owl studies best at 10 p.m. Neither is lazy, and neither is biologically superior, right? They're simply distinct. Society definitely favors the early riser, but science tells us we really need to respect our individual chronotypes.
To summarize this explainer, our sleep-wake cycle isn't just about feeling tired. It's this beautiful endogenous symphony. It's conducted by the SCN master clock in your brain. It's powered at the cellular level by those PER and TIM genetic molecular engines. It communicates via the pineal gland releasing melatonin. And finally, it's fine-tuned and kept in perfect harmony with the Earth's rotation by sunlight, the ultimate Zeitgeber.
So, as we wrap up, I want you to think about your own daily routines. In a 24/7 world absolutely saturated with artificial light, late-night screen time, and crazy weekend schedules, are you respecting your hidden biological clock? Consider how your screen habits might be tricking your brain right now, and what small changes you might make tonight to align with your natural rhythm for a much better, healthier tomorrow. Thanks for exploring the incredible science of circadian rhythms with me.